Wow, I am looking rough today. I can tell you that. I knew I hadn't shaved this morning, but I thought I would have looked a bit more respectable. But that's okay, because I'm going to talk to you about money, and everybody loves to hear about money. Um, got a question, a comment from somebody. They were asking about social media salaries and the range. Now, I wrote some posts a couple of years back, and I update them on a regular basis about what's the right amount to pay for social media. And so a lot of times I'll get someone who the day before an interview in their research says, well, hey, what should I be paid? And they send a note to me, and usually I'll give them some type of advice. But today's was a good example. It was someone who has a job tomorrow. They know what they're looking for. And so the advice I gave them, I wanted to share with you because I think it's important not just for social media, but for any job. The first thing to understand is when you're talking about range, a range of salaries. If you go to a client and you tell them that you have a candidate who's looking for 60 to 80K, the client hears that the candidate will take 60,000. If you go to a job seeker and you tell them you have a job from 60 to 80K, the job seeker will hear 80,000. And no matter what you do from then on out, that's what will be in their mind. So if you come back and you offer 72, they'll say, oh my God, I thought you were talking about 80. If you go to the client and you say 72, they'll say, I thought you said 60. And they won't even pretend. It literally, it's like they don't even hear it. It's like seeing ads on a web page after a while. This is important. This is why you should never give a range of salaries, because people hear what they want to hear and they want to hold you to it. And getting past the whole salary negotiation thing, the easy thing to look for is stop worrying about what the position could pay. Stop worrying about the best salary you can get from the job seeker. Instead, we'd all be better off if we simply picked a number and said to ourselves, this is the number I want. It's actually very good advice I got both from Jason Davis, formerly of recruiting.com and recruitingbloggers.com, and my wife. Both of them sell in a very similar manner. They figure out what they want and they tell you what they want. Straightforward. They don't try to figure it out. They don't sit and do all the little things, measuring up the hours or figuring out what their pay might be. They just figure, hey, you know what will it take to make me happy? Now, these aren't your average people. Jason and my wife are not exactly average workers. They're both very talented at what they do. They bring a lot of value. So what they're actually saying is, I need to pick a salary that I'm happy with so I can give you the best of what I have. Anyone who's worked in a small business in terms of consulting knows if you get half pay or if you don't do a good job standing up for your fees, your choices are to feel miserable about the work because you're not going to give them the best you have, but you don't want to get paid half price, or just go ahead and do a poor job, which why are you even doing it in the first place? It's kind of the same thing with salaries. The one thing I never wanted to see was what somebody else was making. I think it's bad for you. So my advice when I talk to candidates is pretty simple. Stop worrying about the range. Stop worrying about how much you can get or the fears that you won't make anymore. Instead, sit down and figure out, how much do I need? How much do I really need? And then how much will make me happy for this job, for this moment? Not a year from now, not some other time. What do I need? Not a range, but a dollar figure. And my suggestion to you would be that you add $500 to it. So don't say 72, say 72.5. It's just an easy way. One, when people hear round numbers, they think you're making it up. So figure out what your actual salary is, add 500 or 400 to it or something like that, so it looks like you've thought it through, and just say, this is what I actually need. That's what they're asking you for. Because a lot of times I think we have a fear that if we say the wrong number, that they're not going to come after us, or they're not going to hire us. And that's true. But isn't it better to kind of get it out there? I mean, do you really want a job that pays so little? And if the HR person and the recruiters are playing those games with you anyway, you've already lost, haven't you? I mean, if they're trying to trick you into giving a lower salary, this isn't a company you want to work for. At the same time, if they're trying not to get advantage from you, have to lose an advantage. You have to be aware of that and just come out and state it. One, most of the time you list a number and people's eyes will pop out. When I was first in sales for staffing, we used to have a joke that if they don't fall off their chair when you give them the price, you've left money on the table. Some people are good at that. Some people love it. That's important to some folks. My view on it's more is, what is the right salary? What do you need as the employee to do your best job? The only thing I would mention to that, the only caveat I would add is don't get greedy, and this is why. It's not just that they won't pay you or won't hire you. Let's say you are making $85,000 and you get a job for $120,000. What are the expectations they have of you at $120,000 versus $85,000? I know what those expectations are. I spend a lot of time with those, and I can tell you that you need to pick a job salary that you're happy with, not change your world dreams happy, because you're never going to get rich in a salary anyway. But what you need to look at it is, if you're paid $120,000, how long are you going to have that job? And what are your expectations? Your money expenses are going to rise to fit it. So it's not actually going to change your lifestyle and the way that you're thinking. And your taxes are going to go up. And all these different things that you didn't even count on. So don't overreach and then find out you're not qualified to do the job. Instead, pick a number you're happy with and be very specific about it. And then add $500.